live.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us today for this week's Doc Talk Live. We are joined today by Terry Sweaney. She's the Dementia Outpatient Care Coordinator for Riverside's Center for Aging and Lifelong Health. And she's going to take us through some fun and festive holiday tips for family caregivers of persons living with dementia. So welcome, Terry, and please get started.
All right. Thank you, Bob. As he said, I am a dementia care consultant with Riverside and the Center for Excellence in Aging, and I work with the Benjamin Rose Institute Care Consultation. It's an evidence-based program brought to us through the Dementia Wellness Initiative. Essentially, I get to help caregivers every day and loved ones who are living with dementia. So first of all, I just want to thank you all for being a caregiver, being a care partner. This is National Caregivers Month, and we have persons living with dementia. According to the Dementia State Plan, there are 465 of you out there caring for loved ones who are living with dementia. And these hours of unpaid care end up to be about 529 million, and in the billions of dollars of unpaid care. So again, thank you for being a caregiver. We have on the right a little symbol that we have partnered with the Archangels, and we ask you to look for other caregivers, lift them up, and remember that we're all in this together. Teepa Snow describes dementia as symptoms that affect your entire brain, how you take in information, how the brain guides your body, your responses, your reactions. So if you're caring for someone with dementia, you know that you've only met that one person and that we need to lift them up and have respect and dignity for those persons. So what is the perfect holiday? We all have these high expectations of having the perfect holiday. Whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, or Christmas, we all are excited to have some visits with our families and friends. A day filled with laughter, memories, and family. But in actuality, how many of you can say that your family stepped out of a Hallmark movie? We really do need to reduce our expectations. Remember that family dynamics do not change, and we have to vow to make the best out of good moments. Stay focused on the positive, and it's time to decide, especially now with our restrictions for COVID, what traditions that you will modify or what traditions you'll keep. Consider that people may want to come to you during this time instead of you traveling. And have a conversation with your loved ones before the gathering, if you do get together, that your loved one with dementia may not be the same as they remember. They may ask the same questions over and over again. They may say inappropriate things. They may not be able to remember things in the past, and they may not be able to remember the present or the past. So keep in mind that these conversations are important to have with your loved ones before the gathering, because you may need to leave the gathering early if your loved one becomes overwhelmed. So keep that in mind. So with our COVID precautions and restrictions, we do need to decide what matters and how we're going to celebrate the holidays. Of course, if we are celebrating together, we want to avoid that traditional handshake or hug and ask family members to avoid or strictly limit contact with others before they come and visit you. Maybe it's even time to take their temperature before that morning before they leave. Maintain social distancing. Try to gather outside if it seems to be a nice, pretty day. Follow those local reports and trends. If we have an uptick in the number of cases, which we do currently have, it may be time to really reconsider if it's worth the risk of having your loved ones gather together. So instead, we may just have to use technology to have our family dinner together, maybe create a recipe. Or I've even had family caregivers say that they are scheduling phone calls throughout the day so their loved one is involved in the day. If you do decide to gather, I've got a little picture there, a simple post-it note in the bathroom to remind everyone to wash their hands and let them know that their loved ones, everybody's beautiful, and we thank you for all that you're doing. So leading up to the gathering, we want to definitely prepare our loved ones living with dementia so they can help process that this is a time of celebration, whatever holiday we choose to celebrate. Involve them in the conversation. Let them decide and help you decide what matters most and how you will celebrate, and how long you will celebrate. Maybe it's time to keep the visits short. As you would plan a party, involve your loved ones as well in planning the event. Let them help pick out the menu, or we could order food out. Don't ask open-ended questions. Instead, give them choices. For example, maybe you would want to say, would you like ham or turkey for our lunch today? Instead of asking an open-ended question. Some of the activities that I like to do leading up to events is to make sure that they're fail-proof, that everyone and no matter what stage can participate. For example, we can reminisce through old photos. We could maybe make name tags for the table. We could make a thank you card or a holiday card together. Include a photo. That would, if we send out cards to our loved ones, maybe that would open lines of communication, maybe start a pen pal routine. If your loved one is visiting or someone else is visiting with you, make them feel important by offering a token of affection that they can give out to another person. For example, if you make cookies together, individually wrap them, and then the person living with dementia can give those out, or candy cane. So that opens the lines of communication also. All right, now during your gathering, now we're decided to gather, enjoy the moment, keep it small, but also remind you that at the Center for Excellence in Aging, we have an acronym that we use all the time, and that's simply ARE. We don't want to argue, try to reason, or explain, because our loved ones who have dementia simply can't process information the way that we do. We don't want to say, hey, don't you remember me? Because they may not. Or don't you remember that place that we did or the event that we're doing? Just simply don't. They simply can't remember. Instead, introduce yourself. Say, hi, I'm Terry. I'm your niece. It's so good to see you. I love that sweater that you're wearing. That purple looks so great on you. Give a positive action starter and a sincere compliment. Watch your tone and keep it very simple, because the way we process information slows down as we are living with dementia. And again, treat them as you would want them to be treated. You know, I always think about my loved ones, and if I had dementia, how I would want to be treated, and definitely with dignity and respect. Don't make them the elephant in the room. Include them in all the activities, no matter how they can participate. And if they do get upset, it's okay to validate their feelings. Maybe you could say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're upset. Sometimes I get upset too. It's all okay. I also was a caregiver for my mom, and when I went to family gatherings, I brought with me what I call the nanny pack. And it had a change of clothes, her favorite activities, and some puzzle books that we could have a go-to in case she did start to become bored or upset. Now, we've all been socially isolated for quite some time, and we haven't seen our loved ones in a while. So there may be some things that we are concerned about when we do get an opportunity to visit. I know that if we call our loved ones on the phone and we talk to them, we may have some rhythmic conversations. But rhythm goes through the dementia journey for a long time. For example, if I call my mother up and say, "Hey, mom, how you doing?" and she says, "Oh, I'm doing fine. How about you?" And that is a rhythm back and forth. And rhythm, just like music, goes with us for a long time. But we should be a little bit of an investigator once we get there. If we see signs of spoiled food in the refrigerator, or maybe mom made your favorite recipe and it just didn't taste quite right, the house is cluttered with unpaid, and you notice some unpaid bills. You may also see that maybe medications haven't been taken, they remain in the pill boxes, or they're old prescription bottles that are still full. These are signs of concern. Look at the calendar. Is she keeping up with her appointments, or is the calendar on the wrong month? Be an investigator and also take a walk around the car. Are there scrapes and dents around the car? One of the major changes that we see even in early signs of dementia is that visual and spatial awareness. And so that goes with the car as well. We may have some dents there. Um, Check on the phone and see if there have been numerous calls from a number that you don't quite recognize. Our seniors, even those who don't have cognitive impairment, are at risk for fraud and abuse there. Also, if you notice that mom was an impeccable dresser and now her hygiene has changed, that might be a sign of concern. So, what do we do when we see these signs? We may want to get these checked out, whether that bring the concern up to your primary care physician or have an assessment at the geriatric assessment clinic. Our team is comprised of an interdisciplinary team that will look at those signs and symptoms or concerns that you're having and rule out, is this depression? Is it a metabolic change? Or is it a sign of early dementia? At the Center for Rehabilitation, at the Center for Excellence in Aging, we also have a driver rehabilitation program, which is comprised of a driver rehabilitation specialist that will guide and see if your loved one should be driving. We also have some programs that are for micro learning in our Health Services Research Department, which is led by Christy Jensen. She's brought to us numerous programs. For example, Caring for You, Mind, Body, and Soul is an online program of 10 micro learning sessions in which guide you through the journey of caring for someone with dementia. I work with the Benjamin Rose Care Institute as a care consultant. There's also an online care to plan module dealing with dementia, and then TIPA Snow's positive approach to care. All of these programs are available online at riversideonline.com/memory, and the resources are shared there from this presentation. I'm Terry Sweaney. You can find me at teresa.sweaney@rivhs.com, or just simply call the Center for Excellence in Aging at 220-4751. We're happy to help you and your loved one through your journey. And Maya Angelou said it best, that people will not remember what you said. They may not remember what you did, but they will always remember the way you made them feel. So enjoy your holiday and make your loved one feel respected. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. And just have a couple of quick questions from the group. So the first one is, how do I get an appointment at the SEAL Center?
It's easy. Just simply call the number. That's 757-220-4751. Keisha, our office manager, is fabulous, and she will guide you through the process to get an appointment.
Okay, and one last question. You mentioned a driver evaluation. What actually happens at a driver evaluation?
John Vaughter is our driving rehab specialist. He'll bring your loved one in here and go through some assessments and even maybe take them driving. There are three main outcomes that will come out of that driving assessment. Number one, yes, your loved one can drive, or number two, maybe your loved one can't drive, or but with restrictions, maybe during daylight hours, or maybe that he can simply driving is not in their best interest and their license should be suspended and they should no longer drive.
Okay, well, that's it for the questions. I'd like to thank Terry for joining us from SEAL today. And if you missed any part of today's presentation, the entire presentation will be available later today on this page. So again, have a great day, and thanks for joining us.